In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up some of the various gauges that you can access on your Dynojet PowerVision for Harley-Davidson models. So here we are in the main screen of the PowerVision. First thing we want to do is select our preferred units of measure. We'll go to Settings, Units, and we can change that from metric units to English units. I prefer English, so I'll leave it on English. We'll back out to the main screen again. Now to access our gauges, we'll go to the Data Log menu. Under Data Log Settings, Data Log Theme, we can select 3 different themes: all available gauges, daytime digital gauges, or nighttime digital gauges. We'll leave it on all gauges. So if we go in to view our gauges, this would be an example of a nighttime digital gauge panel. We also have graph gauges available, various types of analog gauges. This would be an example of a daytime digital gauge. And we also have a sweeping bar gauge. So we'll go ahead and set up the gauges in this panel. This is 4 digital daytime gauges. I'll start with my gauge in the upper left-hand corner. I need to select a signal for that gauge. I have 2 types of signals that I can select: vehicle and Dynojet channel streams. The only Dynojet channel streams you will ever have are AFR or Lambda if using the wideband auto-tune accessory. All of the other channel streams will be under vehicle. This bike does not have a tachometer, so the first gauge I want to set up is engine speed, or RPM. The natural low limit for that channel stream is 0, and the high limit is set to 9,000. This bike doesn't rev past 6,200 RPM, so I can actually drop this down to about 7,000. Under normal circumstances, my readout is going to be white. Now behind a daytime digital gauge, it's not very visible. So I want the readout to show black. If I get upwards of 6,000 RPM, I want the readout to turn red. So I'm going to select red as the high limit color, and I'm going to program 6,000 RPM as the high limit. So now when I'm approaching 6,000 RPM, my digital readout will be black, but once I reach 6,000 and upwards of 6,000, the numbers will change red. Another good gauge to maybe set up would be battery voltage. That's going to be a vehicle signal. The natural range of battery voltage is 0 to 16 volts. I want that to read out black under normal circumstances. If my battery voltage is low, let's say 11.5 volts, I want the gauge to show red. Also, if the battery voltage is high, let's say 14.7 volts. I also want the gauge to show red. My third gauge, I want to set up to show throttle position. And that is an ECM channel stream from the vehicle streaming into the PowerVision. And the natural low and high limits of that channel stream is 0% throttle to 100% throttle. Really needs to be no warning, but I do want the gauge to show in black lettering during all normal circumstances. And as I move the throttle, you can see it increase. For my fourth gauge, how about a gear indicator? The high and low limits for gear are 0 to 6. This is a 6-speed bike. Want that to show in black? And now I have a gear indicator. And now that you know how to set up your gauges, it's basically up to you to decide how you want to set up your gauges and what you want to see.